Welcome to the first of a handful of revenue management tutorials. My name is Peter Smyth and I'm the co-founder and CEO of White Label Storage. We talk to a lot of owners and operators who either find it expensive to piece together the tools that are in the market or run everything manually themselves, and in doing so run an incomplete or inefficient process. So the point of this series, in the case of revenue management, is to provide free resources and recommendations to help you run your facility. In doing so, hopefully we could save you some time and money. In this video, we cover a simple comparable rate analysis that allows you to track competitor pricing and set street rates at your facility. Let's dive in. All right, here's the spreadsheet. The first tab here is an instructions tab for when you download this and want to walk through it yourself. And then we have our analysis. The analysis is broken into two sections here. The top section is where we host the competitive rates. So you're going to put in each of these columns here represents one of the competitive self-storage facilities in your area. And then we have our rate data below. I have standard unit sizes here that you see in the industry, so 5 by 5, increments of 5. I'll talk about what to do for non-standard units below. Step 1 is putting in your facility information, so facility name, facility address. I like to embed a Google link here because it's easy to then refer back to the map and keep doing searches for competitors on Google Maps. And then in the section below, this is where you want to put your facility information. So you've got unit type, width, depth, your occupancy, and your current rate. With that, once we pull the competitor rates, we can actually make suggestions based on your occupancy, what the low and high rates are in the market. This is where we do our analysis. All right, so in step 1, I've captured the facility information. So that's facility name, facility address. I've embedded a link to Google Maps, and I've input the unit mix and occupancy data below. Step 2, I want to identify my competition. So I've dropped a hypothetical pin for a hypothetical facility on Google Maps here, and what I'm going to do is run a simple self-storage search. Maps is a good indicator of where your competition is. If a facility is not on Google Maps, it's probably not an active manager who has credible rates. So the criteria I care about once I'm on Maps, first is proximity. That's obviously important if you've got somebody looking at storage at your facility. Storage is a commodity. People tend to be looking on price and location. So I care about the facilities that are close to me. After I've sort of pared it down to 5 to 6 close facilities, the criteria I'm using after that are all to identify really active management. So I care about, is the facility institutionally or REIT-owned? REITs and institutions tend to have teams that are very on top of the ball. They understand the market clearing rates for units. I care about bookable units on a website. If a facility does not allow customers to book online, that's probably somebody who's not doing the rest of what an active manager should do, which is understanding rates and trying to find ways to convert leads. And then Google reviews are a big factor here. If you have a store that has a lot of recent Google reviews, that's a manager that's probably running best practices of the facility and is probably also on top of rates. So those are the 3 criteria that I'd look at outside of proximity to identify the competition. All right, so you input your facility information and you've identified your competitors. Now it's time to capture the rate data. So here's our table here. One thing I want to highlight is for institutions and REITs, you're probably going to see 2 to 3 rates for the same unit size. We like to just take the average, so that's fine for this exercise. And 2, you'll probably see an in-store rate and a web rate for those units, where the web rate is cheaper and more prominently shown. You should view that as a promo. The in-store rate is probably closer to the true rate for that unit. You want to look at the web rate when you're looking at running your own promos. So I've captured all the data here. Now I want to come down to where we make our rent suggestions. First, I need to tie the low rates and the street rates to the corresponding units above. One thing I want to highlight, though, is that for every facility will probably have some non-standard units. This table above is all standard unit types, like the most commonly seen units in the market. So that's why they're typically in increments of 5 and 10. For the non-standard units, I like to take the rent per foot of the next unit size up and apply it to the square footage for the non-standard unit. So in this case, the low rate for a 10 by 10 is $75. I'm going to take 70 square feet divided by 100 square feet times $75, and those two units are now going to have the same rent per foot. So I'm going to carry that through all the way through this table. Once I populate this table, I'm going to have my suggested discounts and suggested rates. All right, we're almost there. At this point, you've captured your comparable rates and you've tied them to the unit mix at the bottom of your spreadsheet. I want to make 2 points as you're looking at the suggested rates here. One, we're running something called an occupancy discount. That's a product of the occupancy for each unit type. The lower your occupancy, the higher the discount, and the closer the suggested rate will be to the lowest rate. Number two, you still probably want to use logical parameters as you're actually rolling these rates out to your facility. An example would be seasonality. If you're in a student market and summer's around the corner, you're going to see high demand as students dump out for summer, and then they're going to churn on the back end in the fall. So you probably want to run higher rates to at least compensate for that churn and capture the demand at the same time. That's it. That's the spreadsheet. Hope you enjoyed it. On the next one.
Thanks for watching. We kept it pretty basic this time with a one-page spreadsheet, but we're hoping that by the end of the series you have a well-rounded revenue management toolkit. See you next time.